So today we're going to talk about how to get started. And most of you think that you need to jump into some sort of exercise program. And just like how in the restaurant business we would spend hours prepping all the food so that when you came in to order it, we can just put it all together. You need to prep your leading a somewhat sedentary life. We want to start preparing you to get ready to move. And part of that is a strong core. So this first video, really, we're going to start talking about how to perform the Pilates 100, which is one of the best core movements. How to develop a sense of awareness. It's called kinesthetic quotient. And it's something that as we're using, we continue to develop. But once we stop using our body so much, we tend to lose. So I'm going to use my youngest daughter, Michaela, here. And the reason that I'm using her is she probably has the least developed kinesthetic quotient. And so we're going to start teaching her how to organize. So one of the first things we're going to do is, just so they can see, I'm going to have you raise your arms up over your head. Okay. And I'm going to have you bend your knees just a little bit right there. So we're looking to try to learn how to tilt our hips forward and backwards. So she's got somewhat of a neutral spine. What I want you to do right now is I want you to tilt your hips forward, creating an arch, okay? And then from there, I want you to tilt your hips backwards. There you go, just like that. And we're closing in that space between her spine. We're thinking more along the lines of how much energy we can expend, working out, getting sweaty, things like this. Pilates really is a thinking person's form of exercise. And so these movements are done slowly, and they're done thoughtfully, and they're done thinking about controlling your body. So we're going to do one more as we tilt the hips forward, creating that arch, and then slowly tilting your hips back and press. So just as we did the same with the lower part of your back, now we're going to do that with your neck, okay? And so what I want you to do is feel in the back of your head. I want you to slide it towards your shoulders and start pushing your chin up towards the ceiling. Okay, so creating a nice big arch. And now you're going to slide the back of your head away from your shoulders, and your chin's going to get tucked in like that. Now you should feel a nice big stretch back in here, and then right along in here on the inside, you should feel those muscles. The easiest way to do this is we're going to start her in a good position. So bring your knees up in a little 45-degree angle. Go ahead and keep your feet right on the ground right now. And you want your feet roughly just on the inside of your hips. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tilt your hips backwards. And so part of what we're doing is we're pressing your lower back into the mat. And when you do that, you can feel your belly button kind of being drawn in towards your spine. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a nice long neck. So you're going to push the back of your head away from your shoulders and then tuck your chin in. And so there should be a nice long stretch along here, and you should feel a flexing of some muscles. Still with me? All right, okay. So the next thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and lift your feet up off the ground, and let me guide you right here. Let's come out to right about here, okay? Now, what happened is that when we started moving, your hips tilted forward. Can you tilt your hips backwards? There you go, awesome. You got it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to lift your upper body up until your shoulder blades just leave. At this point, I'm going to show you a couple variations. So essentially, this is her core, this is the center of her body, okay? And so the closer her knees come towards the center of her body, the easier it becomes. So when we're starting out, we want to make this easier. If you're doing the exercise incorrectly, it doesn't make much sense to have her legs all the way out here and then she's struggling to perform this correctly. So let's go ahead and bend your knees. There you go. And you can just start like this. And then as you progress, you can slowly start extending this. There you go. And then you can watch yourself progress as you get stronger.